Hi everybody. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Bobi Wine situation in Uganda. If you look back in retrospect, you can see that the way he's been treated, been beaten right in front of the international cameras, all right, and been beaten in prison many times. You will see him on crutches, and the police using stick, guns, whichever weapons to beat this guy up mercilessly for the whole Africa and the whole world to be watching, and African leaders are silent about it. That's beside the issue, which I don't want to talk about right now. But what we want to say is that if you look at this situation, where this guy have endured so much beatings, and finally they were able to do an election that is actually at least transparent for everyone to watch, and then declare the winner of the election, only to realize that he had to hide. It's very I would say that Africa in itself have problems, all right, and the leadership of Africa is too bad. The democracy is can be a little bit difficult to ascertain or difficult to affirm, as something that is credible for rule of African country. All right. Bobi Wine has been imprisoned and jailed so many times, and yet he was able to win the election 2021. What tells you? So Uganda itself are afraid for their lives. And not only that, you can see that their disapproval of Museveni and his government is fairly clear, and yet they use terrorism. The police use terrorism to control Uganda. It's just like Idi Amin, right? It's tragic. The same police that have beaten him for so long is not saying that he that have won the election should rather get out of the country, because the police is afraid, right? Why are they afraid? Because he knows that he will crush their heads, right? Because they have persecuted this guy so much that now that he has won, all right, what will happen to those police? What will happen to them? He will crush their heads, of course. All right, he will want some retribution for what they've done to him. It's not as if the Ugandans are not, in agreement with him, right? It's because of these things that we say that democracy must work in Africa, right? There's a particular general, a Ugandan general called Andrew Guti. He's the general marshal chairman, all right? He's so brutal, it's not funny. And he sends his thugs to go and beat up the Bobi Wine and his supporters in a merciless chase for what? For what? Do you have to actually beat your opponent to a pulp just because they have to be in democracy, right? Museveni is a dictator, fair and simple, and he's horrific, and it's very clear that Museveni uses his Uganda's institutions to crush his opponent, which is wrong, because it belongs to those institutions belongs to Ugandan people, not Museveni. And so if this is how Museveni has been in power for 35 years, what is the African leaders doing about it? They are basically undermining democracy. Sorry about using other means, but to bring you some of the ideas of how Bobi Wine and Uganda government in and of itself it uses their own opposition as a whipping post for them to stay in power for so many years. All right, so we will say for sure that it's been one event after another. Another person was also violently beaten up, which was the personal medical doctor of Museveni, who wanted to challenge him politically. And this guy was also beaten so bad that, I mean, it was just virtually impossible to even continue with his campaign, and he eventually gave up. But he became an MP in one of the districts of Uganda. All right, per watch. Okay, we will say that Museveni, he's not unique. There are many dictators that have come and gone. All right, the longest was, it wasn't really longest, was Idi Amin, right, in his own country. Now, in Europe also, I would say for sure that Lukashenko, all right, of Belarus is there. Okay, what is notable is that Museveni is not unique, all right. There are many dictators in Africa, including him. One is, of course, his own Idi Amin. What became of Idi Amin? I mean, so Museveni himself knows the repercussion for him staying in power for so long. That is why he uses terror, right, to, you know, control Uganda. And for some reason, presidency is kind of like a psychological issue that makes men in particular to stay in office for so long, because then they'll use corruption, right? The perks of presidency, okay, of being a president, maybe it's so overpowering, right? And then the money that the access to money, the command of using money, right? Access to money, you know, plush living, you getting the best houses, best cars, best everything, best shoes, best clothes, you know, best virtually everything gets into. It's kind of like a powerful psychological I'll say the most powerful psychological drug in a vain person's mind, where they are able, you know, to they are unable to control the urge to not want more. Okay, so that's it. So being a dictator has its perks. Why? Because they are able to continue to live plushly, okay, above everybody else. Okay, they and their families. It's deeply, I'll say, greedy. All right, up to a point, to a high point, okay, where they can stay on until they die. For example, Gaddafi. All right, but I don't know why Africa in and of itself is kind of like crawling with these dictators that stay on for so long. And in Guema, okay, of I believe, okay, Teodoro, right, in Guema, Teodoro in Guema has stayed on for like 41 years, and he's still there, living a plush lifestyle, going to Paris for his son goes there to shop for a whole, I mean, he has the best of everything. And not only that, Forebear's wife has the biggest, fattest wardrobe ever, with the biggest, fattest hair, of course. All right, I mean, the hair, is it a wig? I have no idea. Slay it, girl. Anyway, and then Ali Khamenei for 39 years, and then Denis Sassou Nguesso also, I believe, 36 years. Why? And then Trump also made the attempt to do the same, except that in America you can do it, of course. All right, so one might ask, how do you get rid of dictators, right? How do you get dictators? Because dictators can annoy you to death. How do you get rid of them? The people themselves, okay, have to get rid of them. For example, what Ugandans did by voting for Bobi Wine showed clearly that Uganda's wishes, okay, is that they want another person, but Museveni uses the military and those evil people who are in office because they are corrupt. Obviously, they love corruption. They want it to continue because, of course, they benefit from corruption, not the massive Ugandans who suffers from corruption to prevail over a long time to come. All right, it's unfortunate. It's totally unfortunate. So, according to research, okay, or according to the common knowledge, dictatorship is synonymous to certain things, okay, like disappearance of candidates, okay, beating, brutality, all right, and the regime stays on for so long, and then there's this embedded, deeply embedded corruption that prevails in an economy, okay, and then inflation also, where they print too much of their currency without accountability. And then, of course, draconian court system that is actually, there is no human right whatsoever, all right, where human rights is kind of like rushed over. And then another thing is that several candidates or MPs will be in fear, all right. It's kind of like a rubber stamp parliament where whatever whatever the dictator says goes, like Syria, all right, and Syria and Putin, right, the most hated man in Europe, the whole world. So those opponents might disappear, all right, and like how Alexei Navalny was poisoned and he bravely returned, all right, all these things, and immediately he was jailed, all right, which was yesterday. You can watch it, all right, let's watch.
I'm supporting you on that, but it's never easy to have a pre-election coalition, especially when there is no unanimity in the definition of the problem.
A small but spirited hardcore of Navalny supporters, braving -20 outside this police station, as inside, a hastily convened court ruled on extending Alexei Navalny's detention for another 30 days.
I've seen justice made a mockery of a lot, but apparently the old man in the bunker is so afraid of everything, they just tore up all the criminal procedure laws and threw them in the trash.
All right, so you see that the police is used consistently on a consistent basis, all right, to control the opponent from revealing too much secret, all right, and it's to intimidate them so that they stop whatever it is they are doing, or to challenge authority, because the dictators see themselves more as authority than anybody else. Why? Because they want to continue to be chopping all the money and living a plush lifestyle and be in the limelight and representing the country, when actually some of the citizens don't want them at all to stay there. Something that is 4 years becomes 40 years. So one question we need to ask, all right, is what do dictators want? Okay, what is it that makes them to be as brutal as possible? Well, it's because of the money. Okay, it's psychological also. It's because of cruelty, all right? And they just want to stay on and on and on because of the perks of the presidency, okay? It's also patronizing, all right? It's kind of like authoritarian mindset where you have the need to control a situation for a very long time. All right, why? Okay, they want power. They just want power to crush your fucking head, all right? All right, they just want to crush your head, and they are subversive personalities, right? They have the traits of a mad person who wants control for a very long time to come, but at the same time, they themselves are uncontrollable. Do you get it? All right. Okay, they are also highly controlling. All right. One trait is that they are control freaks, all right? They are afraid of everything and everyone, and they tend to be suspicious of everything and everyone, okay, including their own children. And they love their children to death, right? But at the same time, they hate other people. It's kind of like a situation that we don't understand, like Germany's dictator Hitler, right, and his generals, right, and there are many examples where they stay on and cause horrific wars. They are extremely violent. They are extremely violent individuals. They are also money spenders. Okay, they are not frugal. They are very expensive, right? They are very expensive. They are addicted to plush lifestyle. Okay, the perks of what presidency gives them is what pretty much they aspire to. They just want the plush life forever, and they will kill and maim and beat for it. Okay, lastly, they want the position. Okay, what do they want? They want the position. They want the position to last for a long time, forever. Okay, they want to die in that position. Like, of course, Robert Mugabe. So you see that after Mugabe died, you see that everything is quiet in Zimbabwe. So, for example, if the Kims in South Korea or North Korea, if these people die, North Korea will, try as much as possible to heal itself after these people. They will try and purge them forever, so that they won't even hear or even see the vestiges of the Kims. That's how it is. That's how it is. It's very interesting. So don't be a dictator. All right. Chat soon.